my son, nephew, young man, let me holler at you. I'm sorry I look like an Eskimo today, but it's cold and it's crazy here where I live at down south, almost at the bottom of the map in the Gulf of Mexico, just an hour away. It's 44 degrees now. At least that's what the thermostat in my truck reads. But it's going to be 70 degrees, give or take, by 3 p.m. Anyhow, look, timing of a message matters. And it's unfortunate because you can have the right message, a message that people need. They can need it desperately. They can need it like yesterday. They can need it like last week. But for your average person who's emotional and not logical, regardless of what they need, if the timing is wrong, they'll possibly not get it. Maybe even reject it. Maybe even reject it fiercely. Maybe you trying to do the right thing at the wrong time for someone. And really, actions are like this too. Sometimes people just aren't ready. Sometimes maybe even you aren't ready, because you can have well-meaning intention, but timing can throw everything off. So for example, if a person is angry, if a person is intoxicated, if a person is in an emotional state, if a person is going through a time of turmoil or a difficult situation, that's not the time to deliver a message. If a person's angry, sad, if they have a false sense of being happy, a false sense of victory right now, and you're telling them, hey, this is not real, you're not done yet, the battle ain't over. People who don't have wherewithal to even understand that may not understand whatever message you have to give. Hey, combine these crazy flip-flopping temperatures with pollen in the air and allergy season, with every type of vegetation you could think of in North America. Welcome to Louisiana. Anyhow, I had to learn to hold messages until at least the best possible time. Sometimes that doesn't happen. In general, when I have something to say that I know can be explosive, I handle it like explosives. I take my time. Sometimes I'll tell people, hey, give me a couple of days. In my head, I'm thinking 72 hours, but give me a few days to think on that. It is okay to say, I'll be back, or give me some time to think on that. Because sometimes people ask for your opinion, but they're asking at the wrong time, but they're in a frantic emotional state, and they just want to hear something. And I know you ain't gonna like it, especially if you're a man's man, a direct man, a mission-oriented man. But sometimes, while you're waiting to give the proper response, you gotta give people a little bit of what they want to hear. Now, I do ask people, even though I know sometimes they don't realize what they're asking for when they're talking to me, but I'll ask people, do you want the truth? Or do you want me to tell you what you want to hear? Now, I've had 2 people in my life admit that they prefer that I lie to them. That ain't my character, so I don't deal with those people anymore. But you have people like that. Some admit it, some know it and don't admit it, but then they wonder why they get the type of men in their life that mislead them. But these men know, if I tell this person the truth, I'm going to get a negative response. If I tell this person what they want to hear, I'll get a positive response. It's amazing how God works. So just now I was parking, and the place I usually park in was it was occupied. So I circled it was occupied by a school bus. So I circled the parking lot, and because once I passed the bus up, I realized there was enough space to parallel park where I usually park at. I mean, it's not my space, but I usually park there, and it's amazing how many people might notice what you're doing and you think they don't notice. Free game. All right, but look, I turn around, and when I came back, the bus driver backed up and gave me some more space. So we're talking about timing, right? You know what? I thought it was the right time to go up and tell that bus driver thank you. And I ended up giving the lady a hug. And I thought it was the right time. And, you know, with the whole hashtag Me Too thing and all this craziness going on, you really got to be careful with stuff like that. So anyway, I had a talk with the bus driver, and I said, you know what? I just thought it was the right time to say thank you, because I know a lot of times bus drivers don't get told thank you. You think teaching is a thankless profession? Man, those bus drivers be catching hell. And this is an old school bus driver, and she handles situations well. You know, she's a tough love type person, kind of like me. But the kids love her and respect her, and so do the parents. But nonetheless, she has her moments where people are unappreciative. She was even talking about her own two sons. So one minute, they'll tell her she's doing too much and she's doing the most. And the next, when she stops doing the most, they'll say, well, Mama, why aren't you saying anything? Well, you told me I was doing the most, so you go ahead and do things the way. I think I just made a video about that yesterday, letting people, hard-headed people, learn those tough lessons on their own. Anyhow, so then I went into the front office, and there's a lady who brings newspapers to us, and she was fussing at me about not picking my newspapers up. But then another teacher she was telling me, well, you don't speak to me when I come to your classroom. But see, the timing in that particular class, that's a rough class. See, they give me a lot of students who need elective credits to graduate, yet may present problems from other teachers. So they send them to me because they know I can deal with them. But I can't be buddies and pals and like Ned Flanders from The Simpsons with this group. You have to maintain a certain type of environment. So I just let the lady know, hey, I'm sorry. First, I apologized, because hey man, if you call yourself being any kind of man, if you're wrong, you're wrong. Go ahead and admit it. So I just had a series of good dealings right after using the right timing, just to say, you know what, thank you, because you didn't have to do that. Yeah, it's something small. Yeah, it took a little bit of time, but you know what? You reap what you sow, and I reap some good tidings from that. Go figure. So the timing for message, speech, conversations, actions matter. Granted, this is a complex topic, so I'm going to do a part 2 about listeners, and how when you have someone who's a proven leader. Hold on one second. I got a doggone gnat up in here. All right, I'll get him later. Look at Satan trying to ruin my video. Nope, not today. So I'm going to do a part 2 and a part 3 on this video. Part 2 is going to deal with listeners and listening, because there are times when we who think we're or feel that or have been dubbed leaders, or whatever the case may be, sometimes we don't want to listen. Sometimes we need to, and sometimes we may be the very people who need a message, and we ain't trying to hear it at that particular time. Or if you're just, a person who does not necessarily fit that category, it's about listening in general. even when the timing is wrong. Because sometimes you might feel the timing is wrong, but guess what? If you need information, you need it. Also, I'm going to make a part 3 about determining when to disengage or when to not give a message at all. Because sometimes you just don't need to talk. Sometimes it's time to just be quiet and move on. Hit the like button, hit the share button, because I guarantee you that there's some people who need this content. If you dislike the content, it's cool. Hit the like button too. You got a comment you'd like to make, go ahead and make it. And also, all right, so I'm distracted now. Let me get off of here. As always, never lose the will to win, never lose the will to survive.